are the 17%? Who are they? Who the hell are the 17%? Anybody in here from the 17%? Don't raise your hand. It may be dangerous. 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17. So I think I might have been in Washington 17 times in my life. 17, 17, and 17, 17, 17, 17. 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17. I spoke to him 17 minutes ago. I hung up the phone as you're coming in. 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17. So you had 17 Republicans plus me. 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, planning it for 17 years.
And welcome, guys. Welcome. It's Wednesday for the people that remembered on my last live that I was not going to be able to do anything Thursday, but I was going to change this week's podcast to Wednesday. So for the people that are following, which is a good number of them, thank you once again for paying attention. And you know what? I even messed up because I didn't even put in my status day on Facebook that my podcast was tonight, guys. I'm so sorry. My major exams for this whole paramedic thing is next Wednesday. So it's kind of, cram as much information as I can get in my head. And so it's so much, it's too much. I feel like I'm going to explode. But anyway, welcome. Wednesday night instead of Thursdays. It's going to be a short night. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm exhausted. I still got to go to the gym. I still got to make supper. I still got to study. And then all of a sudden it's 11 o'clock. So we're going to do about a half an hour tonight, guys. I know it doesn't matter how long it is, as long as I do something with you guys, just to be with the family, the Freedom family, the Common Sensors, the American Patriots, our American family, our Canadian Patriots, of course, the Pure Bloods, once upon a time Pure Bloods. So before we started off, we do like we always do. Let's do the shout outs to see our Common Sensors who's watching tonight. And then we'll go. I'm trying to download a video that was sent to me. So I will play another video and then I'll try to get that one in because I want to show you guys and I'll get to it before, but it's not to make fun of anybody. It's not to, that's the dryer, guys. It's not to, literally, it's not to make fun, but it's to show what our country and our world is going into, but especially in my province of New Brunswick, okay? And I'm just going to show you. I didn't really watch the whole video, but when I seen it, I was kind of like, what the hell is this? It shocked me, all right? But again, I have no filter, so you're going to get the Archie Bunker personality tonight with a little bit of Don Cherry, and of course, you're going to get the Jeff Freedom personality. So first shout out going out to Gilles Bourgeois. How you doing, Gilles? Miss Yolanda, Miss Tadaz. What's up, brother? From a different mother, from Oshawa, Sean. How you doing, Brent from North Carolina? Roland, Brenda Pryor, Miss Karen Ross, Vincent, brother from a different mother. How you doing, Ann? Nancy Louise LeBlanc. Of course, I'm enjoying my birth week. Yeah. Actually, there's 3 people in my class because there's 9 of us. No immigrants. Totally awesome. But anyway, and 3 of us had our birthdays this week, including an instructor. So 4. So it's amazing. Tourist baby. So what I did, which the other 3 don't know, is I got one of my students who's about my age, 29, and I got her to bring us a cake tomorrow, and I put happy birthday to the Tauruses, because we are Taurus. So no one knows. So I'll be glad to see their faces tomorrow. It's something I had to do anyway. Please talk about the so-called aliens, which we all know are fallen angels and demons. Nancy, let's put it this way. We all know that there's no such thing as aliens. And if we do think of aliens, even J.D. Vance mentioned it not too long ago. If you guys were paying attention and watch J.D. Vance interview, he literally said he doesn't believe in aliens. He believes that these aliens are fallen angels, right? Do you guys remember that? If you guys didn't see it, check it out. Look up J.D. Vance interview with fallen angels. Now, for a vice president to go and say that, drip, 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 makes you think, right? No such thing as aliens, because we all know extraterrestrial, ETs, means just extra land in Latin. Extra land in common sense world is beyond the ice walls. We don't live on a ball of Earth spinning 1,000 miles an hour, zipping through the galaxy at 66,600 miles per hour, going through the galaxy, chasing the sun at something like 400 and something thousand miles an hour. Anyway, it all works out to be 666 is what I'm trying to say. And so, yeah, we 100% live in a firmament. It's in the Bible. It's been talked about over 200 times, including the first page saying about firmament. Firmament was in our encyclopedias up until the early 50s. Then they took all the encyclopedias and changed them around. Anyway, let's go through this. Okay. Shout out going out to Mike Boom. High fire season has begun in New Brunswick, even with all the rain. Of course, they got a Liberal Party, got to bring in that whole, that whole carbon bullshit, climate change and all that, right? Since we have a Liberal government. How you doing, Marcelina from North Carolina? Dan Sear, Miss Anna Gallant, Barbara from Texas. We are being geoengineered to death. It gets dry so fast, even after a few days of downpour, totally not to the norm. Well, you can thank the Irvings for that with their glyphosate spraying, right? Because if you don't know anything about glyphosate, it literally supposed to protect the trees, but it literally dries them out, so anything can happen. When a fire happens, well, you've seen what happened up in the Bathurst area. For the people that don't know New Brunswick, it literally wiped out a lot of acreage in the Bathurst area right by the highway. So it was pretty scary. That's all from glyphosate. There's nothing positive about glyphosate whatsoever. You can thank the Irvings for that. How you doing, Carolyn? Oh my God, you're trying to brainwash us, Jeff? I don't know what that means, but yeah, of course. Brainwash, not me. Cheryl Bacon, how you doing? Juanita Victoria from Tennessee. Well, welcome to the channel. Listen, Victoria, I usually do an hour podcast, but because I don't see your name too often, so if you're a newbie, congrats. Welcome to the family. We do this every Sunday and Thursday, but I'm finishing up my paramedic training. So for the next 2 weeks, I am swamped with finals next week, but usually I do a huge podcast for an hour talking about a lot of common sense. So if you don't get it all tonight, don't worry about it. There's still Sunday and then next Thursday, which I should be relieved. Hopefully the training went good. I passed and all that good stuff. You'll know by my face if I did or not. All right. So how you doing, Miss Sharon? Brent from Chattanooga. Chattanooga. I hope I pronounced that right, Brent. Miss Janice from sunny Florida. Hey, Janice, honest question here. I know you will never come back to Canada to live, okay? But I also heard Florida is getting just as bad because everyone's flocking to Florida. Places people from, especially from New York, especially from blue states. So definitely a lot of people from California, Chicago, all those blue states. I heard they're flocking to Florida in hundreds of thousands. So I heard some really bad stuff coming out of Florida, especially Miami, which you're far from Miami. You guys got your own, gated village, I guess you could say. But yeah, I heard a lot of bad things are happening in Florida when it comes to immigration. And when I do my immigration, I also mean immigration from the blue states, I guess you could say. How you doing, Gloria? Who else? Miss Joelle Dag, brother from a different mother. How you doing? Michelle Garraway, Miss Lise LeBlanc. Welcome, guys. Freedom Sean, of course. Juanita, Jim, Miss Eagles from Ontario, Billy from Ottawa Valley, Mitzi Carpenter. Am I saying it right, Mitzi? Again, Mitzi, there's another newbie. Guys, I always do an awesome podcast. Tonight's going to be quick and fast with a couple things. I usually have videos, which I do. I think I got a few videos and other things. Talk about common sense, talk about Trump, talk about the boring stuff in Canada, all that stuff. Tonight's going to be a little bit different because there's so much going on. So Janice says, yes, it started, but our government is on it. No special treatment for them. Yeah, 100%. I mean, even down here in Alberta, which everyone knows that's not my home province. Even Danielle Smith said she's cutting back all this immigration programs. There's no more free handouts for them. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's I love Danielle Smith. If she follows through with this, it's great. Helen says you are looking very professional with your new background. Thank you. The only problem is with the new background is you'll see my screen, it goes a little bit on a delay, I guess. I think it's called a delay. It looks like I'm talking. I'll be talking and it'll stop or it'll continue talking. Anyway, until I get things right, this is going to be how I do things anyway. Until I get back home in New Brunswick in June the 3rd, to be precise. So yeah, besides that, I'm going to download this video. And then I'm going to show this because you guys got to check this out because our world is going crazy. Janice, you'll have a good toot at this because this is what's happening in our province right now as we speak. So I'm going to throw this on right now, guys. Check this out in my home province, in my hometown. All right. And this is not to make fun of anyone at all. But this is a pageant that's happening in my province, in my town, Moncton, New Brunswick. And I don't even know what kind of a pageant it really is. Because I mean, someone sent it to me and I didn't even ask questions. I was like, what the hell is this? But Janice, since you're from Moncton, New Brunswick, I want to show you this little pageant that's happening. Supposed to be in May 16th. Check this out. Yeah, as you can see, it's a pageant for the province of New Brunswick. Mr. and Mrs. I don't even know. I really don't care. But I hope you guys noticed. I hope you guys took a very good look at that, because I've said it 1,000 times and I'll keep on saying it, including my live tomorrow. That was all Africans. All right. It's a pageant, Denise. It's a pageant that's happening in Moncton, New Brunswick. And it's just Africans. And in case you guys don't know, especially the ones that just follow, my province is bringing in 135,000 Africans into our little province in the next 3 years. Okay. 135,000. That is insane. And you could see it just in that little video, that little pageant alone. 95% of the, well, there's only one white girl there. The rest, you know, if there was 12, I think there was 12 contestants and 11 of them were all Africans. Yeah, New Brunswick. That's in Moncton, New Brunswick. I didn't make that shit up. That was someone that sent that to me yesterday from New Brunswick. And the girl that sent it to me, it's her friend who was the white girl that was in that pageant. Just to let you know. That's why when she sent it to me, she goes, Jeff, don't mention my name, but I don't know how I'm going to justify this pageant, how I'm going to cheer on my girl. I mean, she goes, I'm actually embarrassed, right? So, I mean, we are not being immigrated, guys. We are being invaded. And in New Brunswick particular, because we're such a small province, Janice, you don't ever want to come back. That's all I got to tell you. You don't want to come back to Moncton. I wish if you ever do come back, Janice, please, for the love of God, please, if you do come back, make me a promise, pinky swear, that as soon as you arrive, you get a hold of me the next day, because I want to jump in the same car with you to drive around Moncton, to go to the mall, and I want to see your face. And I want to bring you to Shediac, and I want to see your facial expressions, because for a lady like yourself who's lived in Moncton all her life and just moved to Florida 4 or 5 years ago, you will not recognize your hometown like that. And I want to see your face if you do come back, because I know you have a house down there. I want to see your face. It's going to be priceless. It's going to be something that America's Most Funniest Videos you probably win when you see it. Because when I took off for 1 year, I went back to Quebec, and when I came back, I couldn't believe it. It was completely, I didn't recognize it at all. So, you know, with that being said, goes to show, in case if no one knows about this, Spirit Airlines. So for the people that know anything about Spirit Airlines, it's pretty much the Carnival, you know, the Carnival cruises filled with Africans and all those African Americans. How shitty it really is. You don't want to go on an African, you don't want to go on a Caribbean cruise anyway, or a Carnival cruise, sorry. Well, they actually have a Carnival airline, and it's called Spirits. Now, Spirits is completely bankrupt. And if you're asking yourself, how can an airline go bankrupt? Check this out. This is probably a couple examples.
Go suck another dirty dick. Fuck out of here, you dirty bitch. I'm not dirty. Yes, you are.
Well, all the blacks that used to ride with Spirit Airlines are now going to ride on your airline. So buckle up. Your plane is about to get a lot blacker. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's what's going to happen. It's a bad thing.
So yeah, I'm going to start doing videos like he does, because I love this guy. And it's going to be basically what they call reaction videos, which I'm going to say everything I need to say when I get little clips and stuff like that. I'm going to have my son teach me how to do reaction videos and get these videos. And it's stuff like that just think, we're going to get 135,000 of these type of people in New Brunswick. 135,000 in a small province. guys, you're going to notice it's going to get dark real fast. And this has got nothing about doing. If you even think of the word racism, take yourself off my channel, because this ain't racism. It's called realism. All right. Plain and simple. Realism. I don't even know that word racism. All right. Because I hate whites just as much as I hate blacks, just as much as I hate Chinese, just as much as I hate Greeks. I definitely hate Italians. All right. Just for the fact, because there are groups of those people that I really hate. The mafia for the Italians. You got the Chinese, because they're all got these Chinese infiltrated gangs. You got the Muslims, who I'll always hate the Muslims no matter what. But that's not a race. That's a religion. But to me, it's a race. I'll give you another example. Check this African stealing. Check this out. Bakarma Gitzer stealing this cart. And this is, I'll just let you guys see. It's pretty funny, but you'll see what I mean. So if you guys didn't notice, she was trying to steal a laundry cart, all right? A laundry cart. Did you see what kind of vehicle she was driving, this African? Because she doesn't look like someone who's a doctor or an engineer or anything like that. But did you actually look at the vehicle she was driving? Anybody happen to look at the vehicle make that she was driving? Because the vehicle she was driving was a BMW, a Beamer. BMW looked like a brand new X5 BMW. Now, those things aren't cheap. We're talking 40, 50, 60,000. Then looks like something that was old. It looked like a pretty new BMW. So why would a doctor or an engineer be driving around with a brand new BMW, wanting to steal the laundry cart, right? So this is what I mean when I talk about Black fatigue is the best word. And I don't care where you are or where you go, it's everywhere with Black fatigue when it comes to this kind of stuff. Because in Moncton, I can promise you, when you bring in 135,000 Africans in our province of New Brunswick, within the 3 to 5 years, you can guarantee the crime rate to the roof, the welfare system to the roof. You can guarantee the ghettos going to be pretty bad. The drugs, pretty bad. You guarantee prostitution. Put it this way. There's a little town in Nova Scotia called Spryfield. All right, check this out. It's called Spryfield. If you don't believe me, for the people, especially in United States and out west, there's this little town called Spryfield, guys. It's by Halifax. Just this little town. And it's literally filled with just Black people. It is the #1 little town in all of Canada that has the highest crime rate, #1. #2, they are the #1 place for crime when it comes to prostitution. They actually made like W5 News, all right, for the amount of prostitution from pimping, I guess you could say, from this one little town. One little town. That's it. But this little town only has, I don't know, a few hundreds of them, under 1,000. Okay, I'm not even going to say even close to that. But they have the highest rate of crime. And it's not so much in their, because you can't rob poor from the poor. It's they go, whoa. So they rob in the, the nearest little towns and little villages and stuff like that. But all the drugs, all the drug dealers is all in that little town. Just to let you know. But that's going to happen in Moncton because they spread out in Moncton too, believe it or not. And can you imagine 135,000 Africans like that woman? what it's going to do to our economy in New Brunswick alone. See you later when it comes to being in New Brunswick. I'll be long gone before that shit ever starts. So yeah. So anyway, we're going to talk about a few things that happened actually, and I got it here on my phone. All right, that I want to talk about. So the question I asked you guys, I think I saved it. Yeah, I did. When you, I'm going to show you a little post, and I'm going to ask you guys, because I like it when you guys, join. I'm going to ask you guys this common sense question, and I want to see if you guys can think outside the box and try to answer this in a common sense way. So when I show you something like this, okay, I'm going to read it because it's kind of small for you people. All right, pay attention. So this CTV News says, is it cheaper getting gas at the First Nations owned gas station? So updated today. That's right. With fuel prices hitting record levels, more drivers are traveling to gas stations on First Nations reserves, where tax rules and exemptions mean savings can be as high as 30 to 40 cents per liter. Can you tell me why they're saving 40 cents on a liter, but regular Canadians aren't? So you tell me the common sense on why the government does that. Is it because of the war on the Hormuz Strait or whatever, the waterway, that their natives' gas is a lot cheaper because maybe, I don't know, they're drilling it themselves in their backyard? How you doing, Miss Carrie? What do you think? I mean, why? Sharon says, yeah, for First Nations people in Dolphin, they charge us all top price in Brandon, Manitoba. They give cheap gas and even cheaper to card holders. Yeah, because they're ignorant. And I don't care what anybody thinks. The First Nations people are the most ignorant, not all, but they are very ignorant, and they have this hatred for the white people. Even though if it wasn't for the white people, and if we had to make them work, they would be probably still wearing beaver skin jackets. And the only thing they could accomplish is making those dream weavers and selling them on the side of the road to make money while they're still over hunting moose that they probably over hunted where there's no more moose in their area, no more deer, no more rabbit, no more squirrels, overfish because they don't know anything about the word conservation. But the question I ask you guys is, do you think it's fair? One, do you think it's being done on purpose by the government? All right. Do you think it's probably being done on purpose by the government to cause, I don't know, division, chaos, that one day the good old white European are just going to lose their shit and start doing something about it? Because you're not going to blame the war against Iran now when you see gas 40 cents cheaper on the reserve. You know what I mean? So anybody that votes liberal are not going to use that excuse no more, that our gas is $1.90 because of the war in Iran. Okay, all right. So if the war in Iran is $1.90 and that's because of the war, it's causing our gas to be $1.90. Guys, it's $2.57 in BC. The gas in BC is up to $2, and that's regular gas. Supreme gas is $2.75 a liter in BC. But the native reserves are getting it 30 to 40 cents cheaper than us real Canadians that pay tax. All right? When you guys can make that make sense, let me know, because it's not making any sense. Manny says, I know because a lot of elderly people tried to send money to these people from our office with money transfer, and we had to stop them from being scammed. That must be the Africans. But yeah, when you guys can make that make sense, let me know, because this has got nothing to do with the war. All right. Even though the liberals are still to this very day talking about the war, that's why the gas is up. Well, let me tell you, that is completely false. There's no war going on in Iran. I've said that the war was done before it even started. I think the war, it took them 3 days. Bang, bang, bang. Goodbye airfields. Goodbye Navy. Goodbye all your drones. Goodbye your ports. That was it. See you later. Goodbye. Right? Bang. 3 days. But they're still, to this very day, the Liberal Party, not the Americans, because if you go across the border, the American side, it's $1.10 for a liter. Just in case you guys didn't know, it's $1.10 in America for a liter of gas. And even that's kind of high for them. Usually they run, trust me on this, usually 65 cents a liter. All right. Just to let you know, it's around 65, 70 cents a liter in the United States. But it's $1.10 for them right now in blue states, which would be Maine. So a question that Pierre Poilievre mentioned to Mark Carney the other day, he said, Mark Carney, can you tell me something? The price of a barrel of oil today is $100 a barrel. All right. Back in 2015, 2016, the price of a barrel of oil was $100, the same price it is today, and gas was $1.36. So why is it the same price of oil, $1.36 back in 2015 with the same price, but today it's $1.90? Make that make sense. So, of course, they blame in the war once again, which, again, liberals don't have any common sense, all right? They're just lying from, their teeth. And on top of that, the natives are getting it 40 cents, even more cheaper than what us Canadians are doing. So when you guys can make that make sense, let me know, because they really are trying to cause division, and it's working. It really is working. And speaking of causing division, check this out. This is all over the place, guys. These two people right now in Surrey, BC, are being wanted. These two Pakistan Punjabis, whatever you call them, because these two fine engineers are running what they call an extortion. So these and many more of them, all right, what they're doing is doing an extortion ring. All right, it's being run by an extortion ring run by a gang from India. That's right, extortion ring from and you know what they're doing? All they're doing, guys, is they're just hitting their own people. Because I'm going to tell you something. If I owned a business and I had some towel heads come into my business say, you have to pay this or else. Well, or else, watch this. Wait, hold on. I'm going to go get some money in the back. Hold on for a minute. I would come back with a bat made out of wood, because wood is pretty good. Wood is hard to break. And I would beat that turban on his head. He would need that to correct the bone fractures around his face, his arm, and his legs. He's going to need that to splint after I be done with those type of people. But that's been happening all over Canada, and they've been doing it for the longest time, at least 5 years. And it's going to get worse because it's happening here in Calgary. Check this out. I think it was this one. Yeah, so this is by Table Salt. So for the people that don't follow Table Salt, guys, I'm sorry, this is small. But in Brampton, this is the new statistics. In Brampton, which we don't call it Brampton no more, we call it Bangladesh, Canada, Brampton in Canada, which has the highest foreign-born population in all of Western world at 59.1%. Now it has the highest insurance rates in Canada, the highest mortgage delinquencies, up 10 times in 6 years, and a car accident rate 5 times the national average, and fire deaths are 3 times higher per capita. And that's because I showed you videos of them doing inside fires in their house in the middle of the living room, doing whatever damn food that they make. Guys, I mean, this is what the Liberal Party brought in. I heard oil went down to 80 cents today. Gas should be going down now. But that's the thing, Barbara. Yeah, the gas is going up, gas is going down, but they literally, the price of the oil went down. But if you believe it or not, they're supposed to bring the gas up tomorrow by 6 to 7 cents more. They really want the Canadian people to lose their mind and start going crazy. That's why they're doing bits and pieces of this. So, because when you do so much to someone that can't take it no more, they explode and go postal. This is why they had 7,000 new army recruits trying to take away the guns in November, because the more they push us or poke us and poke us, when we explode, then it's going to be their time to bring in martial law, right? Then that's when laws really come into effect. Do you remember what kind of law happened in 2001? Let's see if you guys are paying attention. What happened? What false flag happened in 2001 that literally brought so much restriction in United States that they made it a false flag? They made it on purpose to do what? Let's throw that out to you guys, and please, someone, let's see what you guys say about that. What false flag that they did in 2001, so they can literally add so much restriction on purpose to really tie down the American people. Funny how the barrel of oil was $96 back in the 80s and gas was 60 cents. Yeah, Jim, isn't that, you know what I mean? Yeah. So Brent says 9/11. That's right, 9/11. Because after 9/11, which was an inside job, for the people that don't believe that, please don't follow me. I mean, I got kicked out of college campus for being a student union president and telling everybody on the speakers that this was a false flag and that it was an inside job, and there's no such thing as two buildings go down the exact same way, half an hour apart, with a building number 7 in the back, nothing hits, and it fell. It was an inside job, because right after that, a lot of things happened around the world. Yes, it was a grab of oil in Saudi Arabia. Yes, it was for sure. In Iraq and all that. Yes, they went after the oil, but it was so much restriction everywhere, every airport, every border, caused fear amongst people, right? And they had other plans besides that, guys, because they were trying to come out back in 2001. They were trying to come out with another virus. Now, I can't remember what that virus was called, because I did a podcast on that a few years ago, 4 years ago, about exactly at that exact time when people were so scared and want to start World War III. There was another virus outbreak. If someone wants to look that up, what virus was out in 2001 or 2002 or 3? It was one of those years that another scary virus. I don't think it was Ebola. Could be. It's not SARS, but there was another virus that they were supposed to bring out. I can't remember what it is, but I remember doing a live on it. And of course, there was a virus every 3 years after that, right before the elections. There's always a major, but specifically, they had people so scared around North America, not just America, but North America, that everybody's immune systems were so low. And then they came out with this. I think it was SARS. I think it was SARS, Carolyn. Yeah, I think it was SARS. Don't quote me on that. But if you guys want to check it up, I'm pretty sure it might have been SARS, because H1N1 came out further. Anyway, I think it was SARS, but again, I don't know. But I mean, look it up. Just it's one of them. Yeah, I'm never going to guess it because there's a few. But anyway, so either way, Carrie says, I remember it was scary if you had to go to the hospital for a baby. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. So anyway, they were trying to get everybody. No, AIDS came back in the 80s, my friend. That was one of the biggest, was AIDS. And then remember when everybody in their late early, I won't say early because I'm 50, no, I'm 29. But I would say people that were 58 and over, they used to get those polio shots. Remember polio? That left that nasty scar on the arm. And then because polio, and then all of a sudden, that's when cancer started floating around. Remember that, guys? So polio came out in the late 60s, early 70s, and all of a sudden, AIDS, cancer start showing up, right? So was it SARS 2003? Was SARS? Okay, it was SARS. Okay, I think it was that, but yeah, we'll say it was SARS 2003. Okay, so anyway, that's what happens, guys. Fear mongering, and speaking of other things that are happening around in the Canada, because I don't usually like to talk about a lot about Canada, to be honest with you, but I just want to bring up a couple of things. These beautiful engineers and doctors, they actually assaulted an 8-year-old. That's right. Surrey police. Surrey, I don't know what you guys are doing in BC. I know it's a shithole, but these two men were inside a haunted house and literally assaulted an 8-year-old boy, just to let you know. 8-year-old boy with these, I don't know what these doctors or engineers going around assaulting 8-year-old little boys. I mean, come on now, like 8. I mean, doctors, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they want to, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. They were doing some kind of survey with younger kids to check their tonsils, or who knows what these doctors and engineers are doing, right? So yeah, that's all over the place. There's this guy too. Man charged in Calgary, extortion shootings. Yeah. Oh, that's a different name, huh? German cheat, sing. Kanahapir, sing. Sing, sing, sing another day. Yeah. They're all sings, guys, in our steeps. That's what they are. Sings in our steeps. There is no such thing as bringing in these people. I had one retard literally said, well, they're paying tax. They're contributing to society. That is probably the biggest liberal, dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Plain and simple. I wish that person was even half a brain that I could bring on the show, because I said, why don't you come on the show and debate with me about the amount of GDP that these people actually bring into Canada with their taxes, right? Because I can guarantee they don't pay enough tax for the amount of money that is being paid out for each and every one of these parasites. And that's what they are, parasites, because no matter where they go, they ruin those countries. That's what parasites do. That's what locusts do, right? Here's another one for elbows up. Check this out. That's right, Honda. So that little deal that Mark Carney did with Honda, well, that's, what was that? Way back in January? Well, that's right. Breaking news. Honda Motor Company has announced an indefinite suspension of its $15 billion electric vehicle plant investment in Canada with full cancellation under consideration. Yeah, that's right, guys. There's no electric cars coming here. What I've been telling you guys is, if you think Canada's giving money out to Zelensky, and if you think Canada's throwing out money to these countries for diversifying, who knows, in Uganda, there's no money going nowhere. But the good thing is everything is being exposed. And it's going to get to the point that, remember what I told you guys, drip, 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 flood, drip, 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 flood. So things are going to happen. And I got a feeling if it ever did pop off, which I think that's what Donald Trump wants. I actually think deep down inside that Donald Trump wants Canada to pop off, because I think that's the only way that things are ever going to happen, that these Canadians are ever going to wake up, is if things happen to pop off. As for Donald Trump, like I said, people are saying something's going to happen July the 4th. Deep down inside, there's some things that I heard that is supposed to happen. I'm not going to comment on what I think it's going to be. because with Donald Trump, you can't. There is no way for anyone to predict of what's going to happen. You know how many people that actually know what's going to happen, like literally know? It's definitely on one hand besides Donald Trump and probably the vice president, right? That's it. It's only a handful of people. So I can't be out there trying to guess what I think is going to happen because I can't. All I know is God works in mysterious ways. And I know for a fact we will be taken care of. That's all I'm hoping. I know it's going to happen, but I can't give out dates. That's the problem with me is I don't get paid enough to do that much research. And even if I had this on a full-time job, there'd be no way for me to come up and figure out what happens because there's just so much corruption in the world. It would be literally impossible. But I'm going to bring this up because we mentioned something about Indians, the native people, a while ago. And once in a while, I like to talk about natives, because you just seen with the gas prices, which is totally not fair. But check this out. This is the real definition about natives and this whole taking over our land bullshit, blah, 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 which Premier EB is trying to do in BC, but his numbers are tanking as we speak. Check this out.
We should not be giving any land back to First Nations. Not an inch. For starters, Canada isn't stolen land. It's good that Christians came and colonized the vast, untamed wilderness that we now know as Canada, that had violent pagan tribes waging war against one another. What you had in Canada was not Pocahontas. It was tribes raiding, pillaging, and enslaving one another. Don't believe me? Read their own words in their own books. Secondly, they're still fighting over that land today.
Walt Disney
Just look at the
movie.
developments this past week
Pocahontas.
as Musqueam Nation was granted Aboriginal title over Metro Vancouver. It didn't take long for Squamish Nation to come in and contest that title. Proof that the true thieves of this land are the ones who have been stealing it from one another for centuries. Giving all this land back to so-called First Nations is a recipe for disaster. Do you really think that First Nations can build and maintain infrastructure of major portions of a G7 nation when they didn't even have a wheel or written language when Europeans arrived? The answer is a resounding no. Despite the Canadian government having spent more on First Nations than its own military, First Nations reserves and neighborhoods still resemble third world countries.
It has to
Not
stop.
for lack of funding, but for lack of competence and discipline. Sprinkle in a whole lot of corruption within the tribes themselves, where we see rampant misuse of band funds, lack of community transparency, and chiefs committing fraud and theft, and you get disaster. Canada, we shouldn't be giving any of this land back to First Nations, and we should be reversing these recent decisions to give land back ASAP.
100%. Like I've said, and I've said it all this time, before the Europeans came, these tribes were literally killing each other and enslaving each other, and so much savagery. I think that's a word. Being savages. It was never their land to begin with. Number one is if you get into any kind of university courses, you'll learn that the Vikings were the first people to land on this earth. Now, on Canada, that is, just to let you know. But it doesn't matter who landed here first because no one owns land. That's number one. Number two, it's God's land. And number three, we don't even own land, even though I just bought a piece of land, let's say for $100,000. Let's see what happens if I don't pay tax on that land every year. Is it really my land if I don't pay tax on that land every year? No, because within 3 to 4 years, they're snatching that land. Go put a house. Do you think you ever owned that house on that piece of land if you don't pay land tax and you don't pay your property tax? It's never your land. But you're going to tell me natives own land? When did natives ever pay tax to own land? No, natives have their reserve. That was the trade-off. We'll give you this land. We won't build the fence around you guys, which they should, and you stay in your land, and you won't pay tax on your side. You guys will try to function as a society on your reserves, and you won't pay tax. Well, that didn't last long for them, right? So they had to make up a netter agreement. Well, us natives, we don't know how to build homes or build the factory or build stores, and we don't know how to know anything about shipping and handling and all that stuff. You understand? So then a netter agreement. So how they ended up never paying tax outside of the reserve is clueless to me, because that's always been, they only do not pay tax on their reserve. So when they buy a car, it's got to be delivered to the reserve in order to get that car. But it seems like it's kind of drifting away from that in the past years. I know in the 80s, that's how it was done. But they're kind of, I don't know. It is what it is. What did Lisa say? July the 4th, celebration for all. Yeah. I don't know what's happening. My sense is, Barbara, what did Barbara say? Except New York City. Yeah, I don't know what's happening either way. Yeah, she just means New York City, because New York City is completely a shithole, to be honest with you. Still in Manitoba, Sharon? Yeah, Sharon, not to insult you and good old, without saying his name, you couldn't pay me $1 million to live in Manitoba. Never going to happen. And I do mean $2 million. You can pay me $2 million to live there and $1 million in Ontario, no matter what. Swear in my life. Never, ever, ever, ever. So I hate to say it. I don't even know how you guys live there, but you guys, were born there. So never. And I do mean that. I lived in every province across Canada in the last 30 years, but it's never going to happen that I would ever live in Manitoba. Anyway, so with that being said, did I have anything else? Yeah, check this out. This one is pretty funny, guys. It's just check it out. It's going to give you a good laugh about someone bragging about his wife.
Kate, Jim Comey is expected to go back to that federal courthouse where he previously beat a set of criminal charges to face this new indictment. He faces 2 counts. One is for threatening the president, and the other is about transmitting that threat over interstate commerce lines, so posting it on the internet where people all over the nation and the world could see it. This new development this morning is that he is going to be self-surrendering. So the FBI or the U.S. Marshals are not going to pick him up and arrest him. But Comey is expected to be placed under arrest. We're still waiting to hear timing on when he will appear in court. But in this situation, he is going first to the...
So, yeah, I won't play the whole video, but when people say there's got to be some arrest, there's never no arrest going on. Well, that's why you keep on hearing the words central casting, like when I played it at the beginning, in the word 17, which represents Q, and with Comey being indicted, the FBI director, once upon a time, because of this. And when you have people like Mr. Freedom, when's the arrest coming? The arrests have always been there. You're just seeing central cast people walking around. If you think that's Obama with the big ears that look like, he's driving down the road with both doors open. If you think that's the real Obama, you're completely crazy. If you think that's Bill and Hillary Clinton, where he's like 6'5" and she's 4'11", no, those people have been gone a long time ago. There's enough proof and a lot of videos and pictures to prove that wrong, right? If you think that's the real Biden, when you have your own president saying Joe Biden was executed for crimes against humanity back in 2020, Trump didn't lose his mind. He's just trying to give you bits and pieces. All right, guys, that will be it for tonight. I am off to the gym. I've got to train these pipes, and it makes me feel good. Takes a lot of stress off of me from anxiety, especially of the big 200 guys. My final exam is 200 questions and 2 scenarios of a paramedic. And what I mean by scenarios is literally walking into a scenario where it could be a person that has a broken femur, a cracked femur, or someone that's overdosed, and you got to go through so much steps. We're talking about 25 minutes of knowledge of what you have to do. And if you miss these critical steps, you fail, just like that. So it's kind of stressful for a guy that's 29 years old to try to learn all this, all right? Because this training is the pass mark is 75%, most colleges, their pass mark is 50. So this is a private college, and they want that standard to be more than any other college. You understand? So it's 75%, and you got colleges down in Alberta that you only need 50%. So yeah, it's I put myself I went in so deep, but either way, I should be fine, I hope. But I'm definitely not a big coffee drinker, but I'll be doing a lot of coffee Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday because the exam's Wednesday. So wish me luck, but I'll see you guys Sunday anyway. Same time, same place, same channel. And hopefully I got some good stuff for you guys that will happen over the weekend. Anyway, I love you guys all. Thank you for the newbies. Sorry, guys. It's usually a lot more organized for you newbies. And but next time, this was just supposed to be short. See, guys, I can't even make a promise. I say a half an hour, and I did my full hour. Anyway, I love you guys all. Like Don Cherry says, you people hold that line. Have a great weekend that is coming. And summer's in the air. I can see it. I can smell it. Besides the homeless people having a piss in the corner, I still can smell it. But I love you guys all. Take care. Adios, amigos.
Miss out. Bringing you the real truth, exposed. The Canadian Don is digging deeper, asking what others won't, and broadcasting it uncensored. For real. Join the conversation live with facts you can see and voices you can trust. Subscribe today.